Hello, church. This is Pastor Charlie, and we're in the book of Jonah. And today we're going to start in the prayer of chapter 2. We're going to start in verse 2. I'm going to read through 9, although we'll probably only take 2 and 3 today. And then we'll take 4, I think, through 6, and then 7 through 9. And then we'll spend a day in 10 kind of recapping and seeing, what the Lord has done in chapter 2. So let me read from you from chapter 1, and I'll just read the whole of the chapter. It's only 10 verses. Then Jonah prayed to the Lord his God from the belly of the fish, saying, I called out to the Lord. Out of my distress he answered me. Out of the belly of Sheol I cried, and you heard my voice. For you cast me into the deep, into the heart of the seas, and the flood surrounded me. All your waves and your billows passed over me. Then I said, I am driven away from your sight, yet I shall again look upon your holy temple. The waters closed in over me to take my life. The deep surrounded me. Weeds were wrapped around my head. At the root of the mountains, I went down to the land, whose bars closed upon me forever. Yet you brought up my life from the pit. O Lord my God, when my life was fainting away, I remembered the Lord, and my prayer came to you, into your holy temple. Those who pay regard to vain idols forsake their hope of steadfast love. But I, with the voice of thanksgiving, will sacrifice to you. What I have vowed, I will pay. Salvation belongs to the Lord. And the Lord spoke to the fish, and it vomited Jonah out upon the dry land. So that's all of chapter 2. Now, you'll recall, Jonah was sent to Nineveh. He rebelled. He refused to go. And in his constant rebellion, he ends up in the sea, and the Lord swallows him with the fish. And then after 3 days and 3 nights, Jonah prays in the belly of the fish. It's not until he's been in the belly of the fish these 3 days that he finally begins to call out. And here's what he says. I called out to the Lord. Out of my distress, he answered me. Out of the belly of Sheol, I cried, and you heard my voice. So the Lord here has put Jonah into the belly of the fish. And after these 3 days, he says, I call out to the Lord in my distress. I am now distressed. I thought it was going to be a quick death. I thought I would go into the waters and drown quickly right there. But I've been in the belly of this fish for 3 days and 3 nights, and now I'm in distress. And so I'm calling out to the Lord, and he answers me. Out of the belly of Sheol, I cried, and you heard my voice. I was in the belly of the fish. I was in the place of death. My physical body was going to die. There's no way out for me. At this point, my spiritual rebellion has driven me to the point of physical death. I have driven myself so far away from the Lord that I am now surrounded and consumed by Sheol. For you cast me into the deep and into the heart of the sea. The flood surrounded me. All your waves and your billows passed over me. Jonah, when he was in the boat and the sailors were asking him what to do, he said, throw me in. So by his advice and by the sailors' physical effort, Jonah was thrown into the sea. But did you hear what Jonah said? You cast me into the deep, into the heart of the seas, and the floods surrounded me. You did this. And you did this out of my rebellion. You did this because I was refusing to come to you. I am responsible for the choices I made. The sailors were the one who threw me in, but ultimately it was your sovereignty that was chasing me. And you chased me to the point of putting me into the water, swallowing me up in a fish so that I would then turn and begin to pray to you. It's your sovereignty that drove me in my rebellion to get to a place where I would finally turn and pray to you. You've been talking to me since you told me to go to Nineveh, and I've been refusing to talk to you. But you put me in such a place where I have no other option but to talk to you. You cast me into the deep, into the heart of the sea, and the floods surrounded me. All your waves and your billows passed over me. He's in charge of the seas. He's in charge of the wind that makes the waves on the sea. The Lord is in charge. The Lord is sovereign. He is the one in control of the heavens and the earth. And he will put us in such a place where we will finally come to our end and turn to call him. So church, where are you? Are you in a place where you're calling out to the Lord on a daily basis? Don't leave me alone. Don't treat me as my sins deserve. And you're calling out for grace and mercy in the midst of your life. Then you are in the place Jonah was in. And this is a good place to be. This is the appropriate place to be. For God is sovereign over all circumstances of the earth, and your life in particular, and the circumstances and events that are going on with you. Remain in that place. But if you're not in a place where you're calling out for the power and the insight and the wisdom of the Lord in your daily life, then you are one of those steps of rebellion. And maybe it's at the beginning stages where you're just packing up your stuff and getting ready to go, and there's not much hardship and there's not much difficulty. Or maybe you found transport some other way to some other thing that the Lord has called you to. Or maybe you're in the midst of the storm. Or maybe the storm is so bad that you feel like you're in the belly of the fish and there's no way out. Wherever you are along that path, the proper thing to do is acknowledge the sovereignty of the Lord, acknowledge his control over every circumstances, and acknowledge his call on your life. Maybe that means you're giving your life to Christ today, your Savior who has saved you. Or maybe that means you're finally going to stop in your rebellion and do what the Lord has called you to do. Come to the place the Lord brought Jonah to. Come to that place where Jonah finally gives up and prays. Talk to you on Monday, church. Have a good day.